Hey, welcome back. I'm Evan Brand, certified functional medicine practitioner. Let's talk about sugar cravings, something that is so common, and yet people are still eating paleo, or they're eating maybe a pescatarian diet, or sometimes even a vegetarian or a vegan diet. Tons of healthy vegetables and maybe some good meats, but they still have sugar cravings. Why is this? Why is this so common? Well, you've seen my videos on stress. Stress is going to cause us to have more cravings because we're going to look for a quick source of fuel for either glucose to support the brain, or we're just emotionally eating. I find a lot of times it's one of the two. So let's talk about some of the top 3 ways or factors or variables in this whole sugar cravings picture. So the first is going to be that we don't want to feed sugar cravings. Now what happens is when we're in this sugar craving cycle, we're more likely to continue perpetuating that cycle. And here's a couple of common ways that we do that. So one is with the nutrition. So this can be the make it or break it variable for you. So if you're very low calorie, you are going to be more likely to have sugar cravings. Even if the low calories that you are eating are nutrient dense, a lot of the times people that are just simply not eating enough are more susceptible to sugar cravings. I don't really have nothing more to say than that. It's just something that I've seen clinically. Number 2 is going to be blood sugar issues. So this is going to be a major cause of why sugar cravings are happening. If you're deficient in a lot of different trace minerals such as chromium, this is a trace mineral that's really important for the pancreas to do its job of secreting insulin and regulating your blood sugar that way. If you're deficient in chromium, which it's hard to get in the diet, it's going to be tough for you to stabilize that blood sugar, and you're likely going to have some blood sugar crashes. It almost looks like an adrenal picture, really. Your blood sugar is just going to be sort of going up and down. When you're here on this down, you're going to feel like someone better give me a candy bar or a protein bar or I'm going to kill somebody. And then once you eat, the insulin is going to get secreted, the blood sugar is going to rise, and you're going to feel okay here, but then once again you're going to drop. Again, you're going to hit this next low, whether that's 10 a.m. or 2 p.m. You're going to fuel yourself back up and you're going to feel okay, and that is exhausting. Now, something that is important to know about this whole sugar craving cycle is we have a system called the PAL, the PAL system. So, that is the pancreas, the adrenals, and the liver. I know this orange marker isn't big enough, it's not bold enough, but the PAL system is something to keep in mind. So if the pancreas is stressed because you're actually eating sugar, or the pancreas is stressed because you're deficient in chromium, combine that with blood sugar spikes and crashes, the adrenals and the liver are now going to have to try to make up and act as the backup team to take the stored glycogen from the liver and get that glucose back into the system, and the adrenals are going to have to fire cortisol and other hormones to mobilize that blood sugar and get the blood sugar back up so that you don't pass out. So this is a very vicious cycle, and this is why these other organs get affected, and people think, how is my liver affected by sugar, besides sugar being sort of a toxic compound? Well, it's affected because it gets worn out, because it's not really supposed to have to work as hard as it does in the modern world. Let's move on. Kombucha, this is another healthy food. It's fine, it's a good drink, it's a fermented tea, it contains B vitamins and some organic acids and different compounds in it that can be beneficial. But a lot of times if you're doing too much kombucha, or if you're just drinking a kombucha brand that has a lot of sugar, I've seen some with 20-25 grams of sugar, that's almost as much as a soda. So if you're drinking healthy drinks, you need to make sure that they are actually healthy and that you're not just overloading yourself with sugar. Gluten-free treats is going to be the last big factor or big no-no for people. Even though you're eating a gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, organic, coconut sugar brownie, it's still sugar, and typically it is going to cause a spike in your glucose and therefore your insulin levels. So watch out for those gluten-free treats. There's tons of cool cookbooks out there. I like treats too, but you just have to be careful with the dose of those. Number 2, you have to rule out candida with sugar cravings. So this is something that I do via organic acids testing. There's some specific markers, D. arabinose, or sometimes arabinitol, just depending on what company you're using to look at that organic acids. I covered that in another video, so go check out my candida video as well. But you really want to rule that out, because that could be a major cause of your candida issues, is that the candida, the yeast overgrowth, is causing you to have more sugar cravings. And as you're trying to starve out these candida, they basically want you to eat more sugar so that you can keep them alive. And that's common. And I'm treating myself for candida as well as the parasites that I've discovered on my stool test. So there's another video for you to go check out as well. But you definitely have to rule candida out, because it is a factor and it is a major cause of sugar cravings, even though someone's eating a healthy diet, whether it's like a paleo diet, bulletproof diet, whatever, just a whole foods, organic nutrition style diet. Sugar cravings are still very prevalent for a lot of people. So moving on, in terms of treatment plans, action plan, game plan here. We talked about that already. We have to stabilize the blood sugar. You're not going to feel better unless that blood sugar is stable. And you have to heal the adrenals. A lot of times with sugar cravings, there's actually some adrenal fatigue that's going on as well. So what we'll do is we'll try to run 3 different tests. We'll look at an adrenal test, we'll look at a stool test, and we'll look at an organic acids. And once we get that complete picture, we can see, okay, yes, there is candida, or no, there's not candida. Yes, there is adrenal fatigue. No, there's not. Yes, there are parasites, bacterial infections, or no, there's not. And then once we gather that full picture, that's really going to help us, because here's the deal. If you just go into some sugar detox program or sugar craving program, and it's just telling you to eat real food and just eliminate the sugar, that's going to be hard for you to do if you have candida and adrenal fatigue. As you know from my adrenal videos, you're going to be a little bit more susceptible to what they call reactive hypoglycemia, where that blood sugar is going to drop faster than the average person. And so if you do have adrenal issues, you're likely going to have some sugar cravings, and just you getting a whole foods diet is not going to be enough. So this is why so many people promote these programs, because it sounds so good on paper. Just eat these foods and just stop eating sugar, go cold turkey, and everything's just going to magically fall into place, and there's going to be unicorns flying in the air. Well, that's not going to happen if you don't have these other factors on your radar. And a lot of these people are not practitioners, so they're not aware of that. And that's why they have people that are returning or asking for refunds for their products, because they're not working, because they haven't factored in these other variables. So definitely something to consider. Nutrition is definitely key, but as you see, once again, there are more variables. So this is Evan Brand signing out. I will talk more about sugar cravings in another video. We could talk about some of the amino acid therapy that can be helpful, some of the other supplementation, but generally speaking, addressing these simple factors, even without supplementation into the conversation yet, we're able to resolve and completely get rid of the sugar craving issue. If you'd like to schedule that 15-minute free consult with myself, you're welcome to do so on screen. I'll see you in the next video.